Hey guys, welcome back to Landscape Alert, where this week we are going to be doing the 101 on how to use the Concepts application that you can use over on your Windows laptop. In this case, I would say tablet, your Android tablet, and iOS device like an iPad. In this case, I'm using that, and this is the application that we're going to be using. So we are going to be seeing this interface over here. From this point on, depending on what you guys want to do, you click this plus sign right here, and that is going to open a new project where you can design whatever it is that you want. Shoes, cars, and all kinds of cool stuff. In this case, we are going to be talking about landscape and how you can use these tools to do that yourself. Keep it in mind that I'm not going to explain every single detail about this because these are just the basics for this application, but how you can get it started. I do have other applications over here, Morpholio, Procreate, that I also use, but we are going to be focusing on the Concepts app. So this is how it looks, the page at the very beginning once you're going to start drawing. I did put this little logo here just to show you which application we're using. On this side, you will see the wheel where we are going to find all our tools, brushes, and other cool things for our designs. This will include the brushes and or pens that we can use for the drawing. There is different kinds, and depending on if you want to upgrade or not, you will be able to get more. But if you just want to try it out, then you're going to have a few amount of brushes. The ones that says top basics, I have created my own. If you kind of see below, it says LA and other stuff. That is my own creations. So that's just what I like to use, aside from the ones that I have over here. From this point on, we can adjust the thickness of the line in itself. If you want to be very thick or not, it is going to be there. Also, on this other side is where we're going to adjust if we want this to be freehand or if we want this to be very hard, which will allow us to either do curves or straight lines. So I will be demonstrating a few of these ones, how it looks once you click on them and what you can use them for. Of course, it's just gonna be just idea. So this is a straight line. I'm using my pen, which I definitely recommend on all the devices. Use a pen. You can use your fingers, but it's not as cool, precise I should say, for this. So this is kind of the way it looks. If you double tap with two of your fingers, it will undo the things. So you'll see how right now I'm at 100%. I am going to go down to 0 in this case to show you how if I try to do the same thing, it looks very unclean. Even this being my straight lines, quote unquote, they do not look straight at all because it's freehand. And this is also meant for sketching, so if you're into sketch, you can also use it for that. Shading and adding the first parts of your sketch, you can use it. You'll see how now I'm kind of not going to 100% and how this allows me to do curves. Of course, depending on what you are doing or what you want to do, you are going to adjust this accordingly to that. If you're doing curves for your sought areas or other places. So from that point on, we're going to press on this side over here where it will allow us to adjust how dark or how bright we want the color to look, adjust the shade of it if we want it to be 50%, 100%, or 10%, and you'll see how it goes from very dark to not as dark. This will allow us to fill in the spaces. So let's say that we are doing a turf area and we want to fill it in to show, hey, this area is going to be grass or synthetic turf or a different material, and that's how you can fill it in. Double tap and we undo. From that point on, as I mentioned before, we have other tools. This is the one that a different pen. This one right here will allow you to move things if you put them in place. Let's say that you import an item. In this case, I do have this logo. This would allow us to move that. You're gonna see it right below where it goes to item picker. We're gonna click on that one, and then it's gonna highlight this logo, and we can move it around and we can readjust it if we need to do so. Especially if we put it in there and it was just very big, we can adjust it with that over and over again. From that point on, we are going to create a line and we are going to add curve with this curve button over here. We're going to essentially see where we need to adjust it and move it around little by little. I'm just kind of demonstrating this. Of course, it doesn't look super nice. So that's kind of the basics as to where we can start with this tools. We also have erasers, we have movements, and we can also add words in there, but we are not going to be doing that for now, just to kind of get you going on what you can do with your own tablet and your application, in this case Concepts app. From there on, we go to precision. This is where we're going to have the background of the page and other very key information that we need if you want to print this out. This is going to be for the backgrounds. I generally like to stay with a lightweight. If you want, you can always use the blueprint or something else. That's not necessarily important, but it will be important once you print, because it's going to come out this way. If you are wanting to use this as a digital only drawing, then you can use whatever you want. From that point on, we go to the grip type. You can do dot grip or graph paper, which I often use myself. And you even have 1, 2, and 3 point perspective that you can also use. That's more for a different style of drawing that we're not going to get in. From that point on, we go to artboard, and this is going to be essentially the size of the sheet, how much space you are going to be using. Right now it's infinite, so it means that anywhere I draw, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be everywhere. But if you are wanting to have like a limited space because you want to print this, then you are going to have to modify it. Once you start clicking over here, it's going to give you some options at the very bottom, and you're going to go to custom, and from that point you are going to choose the paper that you want to use. In this case, it's going to be a 24 by 18, and it's going to give me that. From that point on, we're going to go to an even more important thing, which is the scale of the page. Keep in mind that every time I design, and most designers do this, they want to have a scale, so when they do print this out and give it to the crew or whoever they're working with, they can measure it themselves with a ruler, and they can know where you want things to be, the sizes, distances, and so forth and so on. Different sizes over here, 1 to 1, 1 to 10, 1 to 64. I generally stay with 1 to 10, and in this case it's going to be 1 inch equals 10 feet, which is what I want. So I'm going to leave it with that, and now you'll see how the lighter gray is where you're going to be able to draw, and it's going to be able to print everything on the outside. You can still draw there, it just won't be in your print. So we kind of have those things now. From that point on, we are going to go down to the layers. Now, the layers is very interesting in this case, because imagine you are painting or drawing in a notebook and you mess up. Well, what do? Well, you start again in a different page, and you mess it up and you start a different page. Well, this allows you to create whatever you want, and even if you do mess up, you can hide that and use a different layer or a different page to draw on by creating new layers. And if you don't like the very first drawing, you can hide those. Now, what I often do is that I will start on the first few layers just to create the idea that I want to go with, and then have a new layer, and that's going to be where I'm going to refine those ideas. As you can see, if you click on the I button, it will essentially hide that layer so you don't have to see it, especially if it's something that you don't want to show up on your print. You just hide it and you kind of forget about it. Later on, if you need to go back, you can always unhide it and kind of look at that. Next, we're going to go to the import, where we are going to be able to bring things into the drawing. In this case, they have their own marketplace. They have a good amount of selection depending on what you are wanting to draw. In this case, they already set up some of their own drawings and their own essentially trees that you can use for your drawing. Of course, they don't have a ton of them. I've created my own, and I can show them in a different video how I create those. But this here is the presentation of evergreen, a conifer that you can use. Say this is your house. Let's say that the square is your house. There is your lovely tree or shrub, whatever you want to be. You are the one in control here, and it even gives you, say, a little essentially other figurines or figures that you can use, actually not figurines, just figures, for creating your design. In this case, a car. Hey, there's my car, my house, and my tree. So it kind of gives you those tools to start with, where you can start creating stuff, and you don't have to go super wild on this. Keep in mind that anytime you're designing, you're always refining and showing what you want to show to either your family members, your wife, or whoever you are working with, just to get the ideas rolling. Keep in mind that this is your own thing for your benefit, so you can work on this as long as you want, however many layers you want. This is all on your imagination, especially if you want to give it a go. Say that you want to design your front yard or your side, your back, wherever it is, you can do this and kind of get the idea rolling. And then if you want to hire a professional designer like myself, you can always reach out to them, say, hey, here's an idea, can we make this possible? I have ideas for my front yard. I'm thinking of a water feature or something else, maybe grass, maybe removing grass, adding shrubs, adding all this other stuff. At least you can have a base to start with. What do you guys think about all this? Let me know if you guys like any of this and if I should be making more videos. Keep in mind that this is just the introduction. There's a lot more to dig. You can reach at me over on Instagram and TikTok or at Landscape Alert. And if you have any other ideas, let me know. Let me know what you guys are working on. And don't forget the motto here, which is Dream, Design, Create. And with that, guys, I will let you guys go. Please take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.